Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Paribrajacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON Sansthapak Savior of the whole world, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Nityalila Pravishta, His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jagranthra Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 7, The Killing of the Demon Trinavrata, text number 13 to 15. We will read one verse together and the remaining two I'll read myself. Ye Ashuya Anrita Dambha Irsha Yesu Yanrita Dambhirsha Himsa Mana Vivarjitaha Himsa Mana Vivarjitaha Na Tesham Satyasilanam Na Tesham Satyasilanam Asisho Vifalaha Kritaha Asisho Vifalaha Kritaha Yesu Yanrita Dambhresa Himsa Mana Vivarjitaha Na Tesham Satyasilanam Ashisho Bifala Krita Yesu Yanrita Dambhirsha Himsa Mana Vivarjitaha Na Tesham Satyasilanam Asisho Bifala Krita. येषोयानृतदम्भेर्षा हिंसामानविवर्जितः न तेषां सत्यशीलानाम् आशीषो विफलाकृता येषोयानृतदम्भेर्षा हिंसामानविवर्जितः न तेषां सत्यशीलानाम् आशीषो विफलाकृतः येषोयानृतदम्भेर्षा हिंसामानविवर्जितः न तेषां सत्यशीलानाम् आशीषो विफलाः कृता. Go ahead. येषोयानृतदम्भेर्षा हिंसामानविवर्जितः न तेषां सत्यशीलानाम् आशीषो विफलाः कृता. I'll read the following two verses myself. Iti valakam adaya samargya yajurupakritaihi jalai pavitra aushadhibhir abhischa dvijattamaihi vachitva swasti ayanam nanda gopa samahitaha hutva chagnim dvijatvibhya pradad annam mahagunam. What word meanings? Ye, those brahmanas who asuya, envy, anruta, untruthfulness, dambha, false pride, irsha, grudges, himsa, being disturbed by the opulence of others, mana, false prestige, vivarjitaha, completely devoid of, na, not, tesham, of such brahmanas, satyasilanam, who are endowed with perfect brahminical qualifications, satya, sama, dama, etc. Ashishaha, the blessings, bifalaha, useless, kritaha, have become, iti, considering all these things, balakam, the child, adaya, taking care of, sama, according to the Sama Veda, rik, according to the Rig Veda, yajuhu, and according to the Yajur Veda, upakritaihi, purified by such means, jalaihi, with water, pavitra aushadhibhi, mixed with pure herbs, abhisichya, after bathing the child, dvija uttamaihi, with ceremonies performed by first-class brahmanas with the above qualifications. Bacha itva, requested to be chanted. Swasti ayanam, auspicious hymns. Nanda Gopaha, Maharaj Nanda, the head of the cowherd men. Samahitaha, liberal and good. Hutva, after offering oblations. Cha, also. Agnim, unto the sacred fire. Dvijatibhyaha, unto those first-class brahmanas. Pradat, gave in charity. Annam, food grains. Mahagunam, excellent. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When Brahmanas are free from envy, untruthfulness, unnecessary pride, grudges, disturbance by the opulence of others, and false prestige, their blessings never go in vain. Considering this, Nanda Maharaj soberly took Krishna on his lap and invited such truthful Brahmanas to perform ritualistic ceremony according to the holy hymns of the Samaveda, Rigveda, and Yajurveda. Then, while the hymns were being chanted, he bathed the child with water mixed with pure herbs. And after performing a fire ceremony, he sumptuously fed all the Brahmanas with first-class grains and other food. Translation with repetition. When Brahmanas are free from envy, untruthfulness, unnecessary pride, grudges, disturbance by the opulence of others, and false prestige, their blessings never go in vain. Considering this, Nanda Maharaj soberly took Krishna on his lap and invited such truthful Brahmanas to perform a ritualistic ceremony according to the holy hymns of the Samaveda, Rigveda, and Yajurveda. Then, while the hymns were being chanted, he bathed the child with water mixed with pure herbs, and after performing a fire ceremony, he sumptuously fed all the Brahmanas with first-class grains and other food. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Nanda Maharaj was very confident about qualifications of the Brahmanas and their blessings. He was fully confident that simply if the good Brahmanas showered their blessings, the child Krishna would be happy. The blessings of qualified Brahmanas can bring happiness not only to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but to everyone. Because Krishna is self-sufficient, he does not require anyone's blessings. Yet Nanda Maharaj thought that Krishna required the blessings of the Brahmanas. What then is to be said of others? In human society, therefore, there must be an ideal class of men, Brahmanas, who can bestow blessings upon others, namely upon the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras, so that everyone will be happy. Krishna therefore says in the Bhagavad Gita 4.13 that human society must have 4 social orders. Chatur Varnyam Maya Shrishtam Gunakarma Vibhagasa. It is not that everyone should become a Sudra or a Vaishya and human society will prosper. It is not that everyone should become a Sudra or a Vaishya and human society will prosper. As enunciated in Bhagavad Gita, there must be a class of Brahmanas with qualities like Satya, Sama, Dama, and Titiksha. It's a long purport. I'll stop here. Maybe in the next class we can resume this. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are seeing this series of verses from the Bhagavatam 10th canto, the 7th chapter, which is the killing of the demon Trinavrata. And we saw how Krishna, when he comes personally, when he descends to this material world, he performs some extraordinary, charming activities, which draws our mind towards him. Actually, the whole purpose of our human life is to glorify the Lord and hear his glories in association of devotees. If one can understand this, because if you see Bhagavatam, the way it has started, Vedavyas, after writing all the Vedic literatures, he was despondent. He was morose, he was sad, and he was not knowing what to do. And Narad Muni could understand his despondency, and his advice was that you should directly glorify the activities of Krishna. If we engage in that, if the whole life of each one of us is centered around glorifying the activities of Krishna, we will never be morose. We will never be sad. So this beautiful verse, it is again talking about some of the qualities of the Brahmanas, which we have been seeing. I think I covered that yesterday, some of the things from the scriptures. One of the things which struck my attention when I saw this verse this morning, the purport, Prabhupada is saying, Nanda Maharaj was very confident about the qualifications of the Brahmanas and their blessings. So the blessings of the Brahmana is a very important thing. Very, very important thing. Actually, we may not know that there is a secret to advancement of our spiritual life, and that secret to advancement of spiritual life lies in pleasing the Vaishnavas. Very interestingly, when I got introduced to spirituality, when I took up to Krishna consciousness, I was very curious about taking to this path of spirituality, and had gone to many other spiritual institutions before coming to ISKCON. And anywhere you go, any institution you go, you inquire what needs to be done, how you should progress. One of the things that they would always say is that first you have to control your mind, you have to become regulated, you have to control your senses, and you have to live an austere life. Not exactly in this way, but the tenets of all their philosophy, if you break it down, it will come to some of these things. Controlling the senses, controlling the mind, living an austere life, developing a detachment to the material world. And if you practice, if you hear that, in the beginning it appears it's very difficult. How will you do this? But there is a whole new paradigm of practicing spiritual life, which I got to know when I read Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, 7th verse. In the purport, Prabhupada mentioned something very nice actually. Very interesting. And that is related to this first line of the purport that we are reading. So I'll read that portion. This is actually the verse is Yoga Yukta Visuddhatma Vijitatma Jitendriya Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma Kurba Napina Lipyate. In the purport, Prabhupada says, because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all, he is very dear to everyone. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. Because he is pure in consciousness, his mind is completely controlled. And because his mind is controlled, his senses are also controlled. Because his mind is always fixed on Krishna, there is no chance of his being deviated from Krishna. Nor is there a chance he will engage in sense matters, nor will there be a chance that he will engage his senses in matters other than the service of the Lord. So what I just read may not have struck you. Let me share what I am trying to say one more time. So a person who is in Krishna consciousness, he is servant to all. Because not just, this is not that we say it artificially, we try to follow it in our life. Gopi bhartrur padakamalayur dasa dasanu dasa. The moment you consider yourself to be servant of everyone, you become dear. So, because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all, he is very dear to everyone. So, one who is working in Krishna consciousness, he is dear to everyone. He is servant to all, and because he is servant to all, he is very dear to everyone. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. This line Prabhupada mentions because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. The missing link here is, first because he is servant to all, he is liked by everyone, and because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. The missing link here is, because everyone is satisfied by his work, they bless him. And because of the blessings of everyone, he is pure in consciousness. And because he is pure in consciousness, his mind is completely controlled. It goes the other way. to reach to the state of spiritual platform, you don't go the normal route of controlling the mind, controlling the senses, and then, coming to the stage of spiritual platform. No, it says, because this person doesn't have ego, he's servant to all, he's dear to everyone. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he's pure in consciousness. And because he's pure in consciousness, his mind is completely controlled. And because his mind is controlled, his senses are also controlled. It's exactly opposite. But it all begins with that one fact that he's servant to everyone and everybody is satisfied with him. And because everybody is satisfied with him, everybody blesses him. And because of that blessing, he becomes pure in consciousness. And because he's pure in consciousness, mind is controlled and the senses are controlled. It's a very interesting thing. So, the blessings of the Vaishnavas or the blessings of our seniors, we just can't take it for granted. They go far, they take us far in our spiritual life. If separately somebody wants to develop these qualities like asuya, anasuya, becoming free from envy, becoming truthful, or becoming tolerant, sama, dhamma, titiksha, all these things, it's not easy, it's very difficult. But our process is not like that. The process that we follow is called yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati ankinchana samasate. What is that verse? If anybody? Kar. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati ankinchana. Yes, we're all saying together. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunaistattra samasate sura harau abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sati davato bhahi. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. When we engage in bhakti to the Supreme Lord as akinchana, sarvair gunaistattra samasate. Samasate, all the gunas, all the good qualities naturally manifest in the heart. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunaistattra samasate sura haro abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sati dhavato vahi. So our process is very simple. The process is engaging in devotional service. And how do we engage in devotional service? And what exactly we need to do? If you carefully pay attention to the various information which is available in our books, in the Nectar of Devotion, in the chapter 6, when Rupa Goswami describes the chapter 6 is called How to Discharge Devotional Service, and he mentions about 64 elements. But he says that the first 3 things in that is accepting the shelter of the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master. Second is becoming initiated by the spiritual master and learning how to discharge devotional service from him. And third is obeying the orders of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. These are the first 3 things, he says. And if you read further, he says that without following the above mentioned 10 principles, one cannot properly elevate himself to the platform of sadhana bhakti or devotional service in practice. Altogether, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions 20 items. I've skipped those remaining 17. And all of them are very important. But out of the 20, the first 3, namely accepting the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, taking initiation from him, and serving him with respect and reverence are the most important. So, accepting a bona fide spiritual master, accepting the shelter of the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master, becoming initiated by the spiritual master, and learning how to discharge devotional service from him, and obeying the orders of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. So then one may question, okay, I have found a bona fide spiritual master in the form of Srila Prabhupada. Very mercifully, Prabhupada has accepted us. Second is becoming initiated by him. That also many of us are initiated. Third is obeying the orders of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. If you ask yourself, how do we obey the orders of the spiritual master with faith and devotion? That is answered in the next chapter. Chapter 7 is evidences regarding devotional principles. And in that, in the verse, actually, Nectar of Devotion or Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you see, it is nothing but compilation of various verses from Bhagavatam. How do we become faithful and how do we serve the spiritual master in the right mood? That is given in the next chapter, in the chapter 7, which is called Accepting the Shelter of a Bona Fide Spiritual Master. And Prabhupada quotes, Rupa Goswami quotes, this is from 11th canto, 3rd chapter, 21st verse, of Maharaj Nimi being instructed by Prabhupada, where he says, how do we faithfully serve a spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master? 3 things which are mentioned. The first thing that is mentioned is that you have to hear Bhagavatam regularly. The verse that we are chanting every day in the morning, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Importance of hearing Bhagavatam cannot be minimized. No matter how busy we are, no matter what we do, we have to hear Bhagavatam. Because Bhagavatam, Idam Bhagavatam Namam Puranam Brahma Samitam. This is not different from the Lord. What happens when you hear Bhagavatam? By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee of the Lord, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service to the personality of Godhead, who is praised in transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Whether we like it, whether we accept it, whether we don't, our heart is filled with all unwanted things, lot of unwanted things. Even though we have taken up to this path of bhakti, because this process is the change in the antakarana. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana. So it's an internal work. And that internal work can only happen if we take to this process very rigidly, very strictly. And one of the most important things which in that Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami mentions is hearing Bhagavatam. Hearing Bhagavatam has to be done every day, but not as a formality, but has to be taken as, this has to be taken this matter as very seriously. The verse of Bhagavatam which says, these are all very, very, very interesting and very important to know, so that, the activities that we are doing, we don't take it lightly or we don't take it granted. In Bhagavatam again, Krishna says, in the questions by Parikshit, there is one verse which comes, which says, Shrinvata Shraddhaya Nityam Grinatasva Cheshtitam Kalena Nati Dirghena Bhagavan Bhishate Hridi. So, Shrinvata Shraddhaya Nityam. We have to hear Bhagavatam, but how should we hear? We should hear Bhagavatam with Shraddha. And Shraddha is not translated by Prabhupada. The word-to-word meaning is, we have to hear with earnestness. Shrinvata Shraddhaya Nityam. And Nityam, Prabhupada translates regularly, and then in bracket, daily. Somebody may hear regularly Bhagavatam on Saturdays or Sundays. That's not regular hearing, daily. Shrinvata Shraddhaya Nityam Grinatascha Swacheshtitam. And having taken the matter very seriously. It's not some very casual thing as a formality. I have to come. What else to do now? I have to come to. If I have to do, if I have to go to the temple, they will ask me. So I have to hear. Might as well just sit and get done with that. No, taking the matter very seriously. Grinatascha socheshtitam. Kalena nati dirghena Bhagavan bhishate hridi. Kalena na ati dirghena. It doesn't take a long time. Na ati dirghena kalena. Very soon. Bhagavan Bhishate Hridi, the Lord manifests. This process is bona fide. And you really want to, the first 3 things which Rupa Goswami is listing of how to engage in devotional service. By engaging in devotional service, we can come to that Brahma Bhuta platform. The first 3 things is, accepting a bona fide spiritual master, taking initiation from him and serving him with faith and devotion. And how to serve him with faith and devotion? First thing is hearing Bhagavatam. Second thing that Prabhupada says to, second thing that is mentioned in that Nectar of Devotion is that Nimi saying, Nimi is hearing this. So the second thing that he mentions is the verse from 3rd canto where Kapila Deva is instructing Mother Devahuti, Satam Prasangan Mama Virya Sambido Bhavanti Hrit Karna Rasayana Kathas Tad Joshnad Asu Apavarga Vartmani Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukramishati. Satam Prasangan. In association of devotees. Actually, the same Bhagavatam which we hear, when we hear it in association of devotees, there is a potency which gets released. Mama Virya Sambido. Satam Prasangan Mama Sambido. So my activities, my pastimes, when you hear in association of devotees, Virya, that potency which gets released, which cleanses our heart, which helps us make advancement quickly. Satam prasangan mama virya sambido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana. How is it? Is it really some boring, drudging, what to do? Something they will say. No. Hritkarna rasayana. Oh, for the ears and for the heart. Very pleasing. Bhavanti hritkarna rasayana. Tad joshanad asu apavarga vartamani. It helps us to make advancement towards apavarga vartamani. Vartamani is to cross. To go towards what? Apavarga. Towards liberation. Pavarga is what is the material world. Pa, pa, ba, bhama, which characterize the material world. Pa is parishrama, pa is pena, form. Ba is vyartha or bandhana. Bha is bhaya, and ma is mrityu. Apavarga vartamani. Tad joshana dasu apavarga vartamani. Shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. The faith, then attraction, and bhakti, it follows one after another. So that is the second principle of engaging in faith and devotion. And the third thing that he says is yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. Samasati sura, and engaging in devotional service. How do we engage in devotional service, and how do we, I know we are running out of time, how do we engage in devotional service, and what is the best way of being conscious of Krishna always, 24/7? For that, Bhagavad Gita gives a very nice verse. If we just take this one verse, it will help us, stay connected to Krishna always. And the benefits of that also Krishna mentions. This is in the second chapter, 66th verse, where Krishna says, Nasti buddhir ayuktasya, nacha yuktasya bhavana, nacha bhava yatah santir, asantasya kutah sukham. It's a beautiful verse, actually. The Bhagavad Gita is like the treasure house. I mean, so many wonderful things are there. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya, nacha yuktasya bhavana, nacha bhava yatah santir, asantasya kutah sukham. You can be conscious of someone if you are connected to him. If you are not connected to him, you will not be conscious of him. Like for example, there are so many people here in this material world, we are not conscious of them because we are not connected. But to those people we are connected, we are conscious of them. So if we are connected to Krishna, we will be conscious of him. The more we are disconnected from Krishna, the more we are not conscious. The more we are connected to the material world, material objects, material relationship, the more we are disconnected from Krishna. The more we have envy in our heart, the more we have material desires in our heart, we are disconnected from Krishna. How do we connect with Krishna? That is given in this verse. In this chapter in the purport, Prabhupada is writing, there are 3 ways of connecting with, which is nothing, it's not some big rocket science. It's actually the 5th chapter, 29th verse in the purport. In this verse, the purport, Prabhupada quotes that verse, Bhoktaram yajnatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyantva mam santi marchati. The symptom of a person who's connected to Krishna, the first thing that you will see is he's peaceful. If the face is dull, if the face is appearing morose, sad, that means he's not connected to Krishna. And how do you connect with Krishna? If you have these 3 understandings clearly in your mind, you'll be that means you are connected to Krishna. The first thing is Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam, that Krishna is the only enjoyer. My enjoyment lies in serving him. Clear, very clear. The more we are doing anything that we do without Krishna, without connecting to Krishna, we're trying to enjoy, the more we will be in suffering. So accepting that Krishna is the only enjoyer, and if I engage in his service, I'll be satisfied, is the first thing. Second is Bhoktaram Yagatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the only proprietor. Everything belongs to him. Imagine if somebody is sitting and he has got some nice mobile or some nice chanting bag, and I go and snatch it from him. It's unlawful. Right? So everything you can only enjoy if you have things that belong to you. But this entire material world belongs to Krishna. So the best Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Gyantva Mam Sadhi. Third thing is the best well-wishing friend of each one of us. For each one of us is the Supreme Lord. Not some family members, relatives, this thing, that thing. None of those. Because they'll be here today, tomorrow they'll be gone. But Krishna is always present in our heart. These 3 things if we remember, then we will be connected to Krishna. And if we are connected to Krishna, we will be conscious of Krishna. If we are conscious of Krishna, we will be peaceful. Nacha bhava yatah santir asantasya kuta sukham. And if you are peaceful, then you'll be happy. So these are all linked. These are all very nicely connected. These are some of the points from this verse that we spoke. If anybody has any quick comments or this thing, you can stop. Maybe. Any corrections, any comments? Yes, Mataji. No, if you ask for it, then it is a little artificial. It's by our attitude. When we genuinely want to serve somebody, the other person will feel it. Isn't it? Suppose you are serving someone and then you say, I've served you, now you bless me. It becomes a transactional thing. That comes naturally from the heart. When somebody sees somebody has served him genuinely from the heart, the blessing also goes naturally. So that attitude of serving Vaishnavas, the attitude that I am Gopi Bhartrur Padakamale or Dasa, anybody, when we develop that, let me please this Vaishnava. Let me serve him. Then that blessing comes. Like anybody who becomes obedient, who serves us, naturally we bestow our blessings on him. You don't need to ask for it. It will come if you have served genuinely. Even if that person doesn't say anything on your face by words, but in his heart he would have blessed you. Yeah, I mean, Nectar of Instruction says, whoever we are in whichever stage of our devotional life we are, we will have peers, we will have juniors, and we will have seniors. Even somebody who has chanted once Hare Krishna, he is considered to be Vaishnava. For him, we have to respect him in mentally. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And somebody who has taken initiation, we have to bow down. We have to, he's like our peers. And somebody who's senior, we have to serve him. That's very simple. I mean, very nicely, Prabhupada in the purport mentions how each one of us, we have always this three category of Vaishnavas with whom we associate. Depending upon who he is, we have to have respect. But the service, because the moment we think I'm senior, then that false ego comes, and I feel he's junior to me, he joined after me, then he's supposed to serve me. That's not the right mentality. Vaishnavas are not like, in material world, like we have this understanding that somebody is junior, somebody is senior, I should only serve the seniors. Not like that. As a whole, I should see how I can serve the Vaishnava in such a way that he makes advancement in his spiritual life. That's my goal. If I can assist him in any way. So when you have that mood inside, then being prideless, you will engage in devotional service. It's not somehow out of so many millions of living entities, one has come to this path of has come to the path of taking Krishna consciousness. It's taken shelter of the bona fide spiritual master. I should have that respect for him. So when I have that mood and I serve, everybody becomes pleased. Not just that Vaishnava, even Prabhupada, Krishna, everybody gets pleased. And that is how the consciousness becomes pure. And when the consciousness is pure, mind is controlled, senses are controlled, you don't have to do anything. But when we have that false ego deep within, and we go and approach, things are in a material platform. I don't know if it helps, Mataji. Yeah. If anybody has any other question, you can take it. Which one? 5.7. Yeah, so I think in Sat Goswami Ashtakam also it is, there is one line which comes, Dhira Dhira Priyajana, right? So they are not only dear to the Vaishnavas or devotees, they are also dear to the atheistic, demoniac and envious people. That is only possible by having that, developing that saintly character. A person who is saintly, even if an envious person sees him, somehow in his heart he develops a respect for him. And that is what is the expectation of Srila Prabhupada, that his disciples should be ideal in their conduct and character. Not an easy thing. I mean, I'm talking about myself. We have a lot of anarthas and a long way to go there. But just by seeing a Vaishnava, one should develop that I should become like him. The sense of envy, the sense of pride, or the sense of, this fellow is this should just vanish from the person's heart. And it is possible if you read, I think if you see in Bhagavatam, first canto, 19th chapter, it is mentioned, even the glance of the pure devotees is so this thing. Like, Prabhupada, when he just looked at some people, they got transformed. It was the purity that they had. So, of course, we are not there, but as and when we develop this saintly character, then we become attractive to everyone, including the non-envious, including the envious people. We'll stop here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.